What's up, guys? So in this installment of this four-part series on Graham Acres suits and Double O, we're going to look at the next evolution of the Maserao, and it is the Susanowo, or just Susanoo, if you really want to go there. It is the GNX Y901TW, lots of letters and numbers, but it is basically started off as a Jinx and then developed into so much more than that because it was Billy Katagiri mostly working on these things, whereas the other parts were all done by the Federation and stuff like that. So you got a great shot of it right here. Particles coming all out of this thing because it does still have the twin G and Tau drives, just like its predecessor did. Now, I mean, it's pretty much the exact same thing, but upgraded from the Maserao. And also you can tell it's now black and white because they really wanted to go with the colors from the overflag. You know, it is what it is. Graham's a weird fella. So we got Double O logo here, Gundam HG00 right there, little Gundam 00 there. Great particle effects swooshing all over the place, and you actually have the Double O riser trying to fight it off right here in one of their epic battles. I believe it was the only time they actually fought. You can get a shot here of his new swords. That's awesome. And you got Bandai 2009, and you have Naochika Morishita down there. And come down to the bottom, you got weapons, you got swords, you got stuff, you got a thing plugs into the thing, you got images from the show, you've got, hey, there's stuff hidden away there, and think action, you got more stills from the show, you've got a hand, you've got things pointed out here, you've got another thing doing arrows there, you got another thing right there, swishy swishy, and then stuff pointed things, and hey, feet, and then you've got, it's very similar setup to what the Maserao did. You've got this does this does this. Hey, there's a thing in there. And you've got weapons hiding amongst itself there, and you've got stands included, and that. Hold on. I'm going to have to look at that. I'm not sure if that's a thing or not. And you come around here, you got number 46 in a line. Now, if you're wondering why this was 46 and its predecessor was number 55, I can't tell you that. I just know that obviously they developed this kit before they developed that one. So you got all the same stuff all over here, and of course no Bandai Hobby.net because it didn't exist yet. And you come over here and you've got the read up, 20.4 millimeters tall, 68.4 tons. All of the weapons. You got a front shot. You got no rear shot because they hate us. You got the read up all right there. You've got him charging up a big weapon. You've got Mr. Bushido. Again, we all know who that really is. And we come over here and you've got your obligatory warnings for 3-year-olds and 18-year-olds. I'm not sure why. And you got 1,500 yen. Oh, I forgot about the little guy on the toilet last time. He's right there. Upgraded suit. Still upside down. Alright, let's get it out here and look at it. And here we go. And don't adjust your screens, guys. This is actually a new suit. It's not the exact same thing. Although it looks incredibly similar because, like I said, it was based directly from the Maserao. And that's what happens whenever you develop a suit directly into another one. And yeah, you got a much kind of different color palette. You got the black and white color scheme going on here, which is very much ripped off from the overflag, which is what they were going for. They wanted to have that aesthetic. You got the black and the white, and you got some gray mixed in. You also have the now blue power cable coming out the back of the body there. Yeah, it's a really good looking suit, although it is a bit spikier than its predecessor. You now have different fins up here, so these are now got extra spikes on them. Do look otherwise exactly the same. The faceplate is exactly the same. These, I believe, are exactly the same. This is bigger right through here, just these little shoulder bits. Now we do have a new bit. It's this gauntlet right here, and it just kind of clips on over the main arm, and you actually get a sticker that wraps around right here. Now you'll notice he's got two of them, and this one is painted because there's no sticker on it. This one is actually from the Maserao because they shared the same mold. They actually came with the same stuff. So I just totally snagged that. Now guys, I really do hate the way these shoulder joints plug in It is really not the most secure system in the world. And that's my biggest complaint about this entire kit is the way those ball joints all work. Now, this one does come with accessories, very much like his predecessor slash not predecessor, and you do get hands. But with this one, you get 2 sword-holding hands and only 1 expressive hand. But one thing I did on this guy is I added some paint, so he actually has some gray fingers going on there, and you got some silver going on the palm, and also gray and silver going on the back of the hand. So technically I was evolving this as I was going. Same thing with the expressive hand. You got the gray, you got the silver all on there, all the way around. Looks really good, actually. I really do dig that. Now I'm going to go ahead and put his fisting hand in there. That sounded wrong. You do get the kind of goldish, coppery, brassy color right there. You do get a white sticker right across here. I've got some silver paint right in there. Gray paint right here on the GN field emitter. Same thing right here on the front of the drives. Those would just be black otherwise. Tiny spots of silver on the thigh parts. Come around to the back. Couple dots of silver. Well, 1 dot of silver apparently right there. Oh, there's the other one up top. Of course, I'm not paying attention to where I'm looking. These are exactly the same mold. The legs are almost entirely the same, with the exception of the white leg part here. I do believe the legs, everything from the crotch down is identical. You have the minor differences from the torso up. Yay for that. Now he does have one more little weapon accessory that I'm not really using anything for. It is the weird beam chakram thingy, and I went ahead and hit this with a little bit of metallic red Gundam paint, or Gundam marker paint I should say, just to give it some effect. And it's still totally pointless because we don't know what it does. He never used it in the show, but it does look pretty cool on the actual toy or model, whatever. A toy would be pretty good. Now, I do believe this one is actually, this suit is actually featured in one of the different games. But, yeah. Okay, so he's got 2 more weapons, quote unquote. Quote me on the 2 weapons. Just like his predecessor. Over here on his GN thrusters, he's got his swords hidden away. Now, I've got to pull it out. They're clipped in there rather securely. And I like that, but yeah, it is a bit of a chore to get them back out. Come on, get out of there, buddy. Like, seriously hard to get that out. Ow. Oh, by the way, this thing does have some significant points on it, so be careful. Even with the little safety nubs there, still not great. Alright, so he has twin swords again, although not called Daryl and Howard. Rename the swords this time, and yeah, they are solid blades for the most part. But the cool thing about these is they're actually sort of hollow on the inside, and they can emit beam blades too. Really neat technology, and you do actually see it in the episode. So we have, I'm just gonna guess. Shiranui and Unryu. 2 awesome, cool swords. And they got some paint. Got some of my favorite dark gray ever, I think, if I had to guess. And then some silver paint there on the details. And yeah, looking at the hands there, they can do some cool stuff. Such as combining. Now you get this really awesome Batleth style weapon. I do believe he used this actually in the show, and this is actually called Suten. That's actually pretty cool. Really love the way that looks. Now he can hold this or either of the swords, but to put the Suten in the hand, you can do it one of 2 ways. Let's do it the easier way. Go ahead and separate it first. Slide the handle up through the hand. And actually, this is my preferred method of showing him off. And you can hold it just like so. And there he is, looking pretty badass with his awesome sword. Now, very similar to his predecessor, he can also utilize his power cable back here. He can plug it into the shoulder the same way as before, so you can do that, although it's not a super secure connection. However, he can also do what he does in the show, I believe, and you can pull it around. Mind you, it's probably going to pop out of the back, and you can actually plug this directly into the hilt of either sword, and that would actually, oops, the fist completely fell off. That would actually give him a direct line of power to the beam saber, making a much bigger bladed weapon. That actually looks pretty cool. I'm gonna get a picture of that. Did y'all see that? Nope? Okay. So, along with the list of all of his weapons, he can still emit GN fields from here, and probably somewhere on the leg, because the armor is still pretty thin, but that's also why he had the gauntlet, so he could take some direct hits on his arms. This is meant for a little bit more close combat, realistically. Now, he does still have the twin drive setup going on here, or rather the two GN Tau drives. They're not a twin drive system, like I said before, but they are, you know, they're two drives. Now, he has a completely different setup going here. So instead of being mounted on the legs, he actually has these like wing pods kind of set up here, and you can really angle that however you want, so you can fly really fast upward, like so. Go ahead and take them up to stand. And these do just hinge right here, all nice and easy, although they are a little bit wonky right now. Ow, that's a little pointy. I think I painted just the tips of those. I added some silver paint here. Now, they look very similar, but you'll notice there's a split right here, and there's a good reason for that. This, in fact, can open in an incredibly annoying manner. So these actually become GN claws. If I can remember how to actually utilize that, it'd be great, because they make this on a hinge, but then the thing that's right there doesn't really work that way. So you have to kind of unplug it and plug it back in another spot, if I remember correctly, but I'm not making that happen all of a sudden. So this is definitely the most annoying feature on this guy, because the hinge is super weak. The plug for how these things plug on, you can see right there, is incredibly stupid. They just slide into those little gaps. So if you have it tucked back like this, it's one thing. But if you pull it out at all, then it gets really weak and a dumb connection. I would have much rather them try to give you a more snug hinge. I mean, you're not really going to do anything with that, but he had claws. He could grab with them, stuff like that. I don't remember if he actually used that in the show to grab the 00 or anything like that, but he could do it. And they do actually, I didn't get to show this off too much on the previous kit, so you can totally rock them straight back for thrusting purposes. He also does have this huge GN vernier right here for incredibly fast forward movement. Now, I think he came with the adapters that look exactly like the Maserau. Oh, I totally never got this until just now. So he actually does have, I gotta swing all this out of the way. Now, one thing that sucks is these things are stuck in a rear-facing position. And this part here is incredibly annoying, but you actually do have the holster right here. Very hard to see, right there. So you can actually store the Soten directly on the butt if you want to. Gotta line up both at the same time. Now, that is seriously in the way, so I don't understand. I think that's supposed to be able to tilt out of the way. While you can do this, I don't think it's a good plan. So, just sort of... yeah, that failed epically, realistically. This entire GN thruster setup going on here is massively in the way. And I just unplugged that, which means I can never get that wire back in there. So this is where a lot of things, just too much going on the backpack. We see this a lot. But yeah, very, very much going on back here. Put that back on. Put this guy back in here. It's not really an up or down, just stick it back in. And try to get this plugged back into the back of the neck. Right in there. And by all means, guys, if you're actually going to use these power cords, I totally suggest gluing them in with some super glue. Now, I'm going to skip articulation on this guy, but I will show off one thing that I forgot about. Just like before, you do totally have the flag face in there, and yeah, it is Daryl's, the head off of Daryl's over flag. So you do actually get to see it in this because he ends up getting busted up, and that's when they really reveal everything. And of course, this is the suit that when fighting the 00, he revealed himself to be Graham Acre because he was, of course, pretending to be Mr. Bushido for the longest freaking time. It's okay. He has a license. They have a license. They can just do whatever they want. Now, this guy has one more big weapon that we'll look at, and it is what's known as the Tri-Punisher. So we flip open these new thingies in the shoulders, and you see a little bit of silver, you see a cannon there. And where we used to have the cockpit access before, we now pull that, raise the torso up, pull the head off completely. Well, why not? Just pull the head off completely. Go ahead and swing that open. And now he has a very, very large and powerful weapon that we saw on the box art, where he can charge up and fire a massive beam. Now, one thing I think I did here is painted the inside of this gray, so that when it was open, it would look like that. You guys know how I really always wanted my 00 kits to look beautiful and kind of matching. So let's go ahead and put the Soten in his right hand, if I can get it open. Okay, the hand itself isn't going to open, so open the swords. And plug that back in. So now he's shooting, slicing, and all of the above. Now, of course, for a quick comparison, because we can do it easily, there's the two different suits, and you guys can see the obvious differences and the obvious similarities. Because this one was developed from this one, and then of course this being defeated, it ended up getting developed into the suit we're going to look at next time. But for now, let's go ahead and get these all on the combined stand. Okay, so there we have those two, and then the way I normally have it, I've got Susanoo over here doing his thing. Go ahead and close up the Tri-Punisher, which that is a crazy name, let's be honest. And I think what I need to do, I'm going to go ahead and put this back in his left hand. I really do like this weapon. It's a lot of fun. Not to mention, it's pretty OP when it comes down to it. And I'll put the expressive hand back on him on his right side, so he can be just really angry and having his swords out, because he always wanted revenge for what the Gundams did to the Overflags. And yeah, he really never got over it until the end of the series. So there we go. And in the next time, you guys can probably guess what it's going to be. But for now, I want to thank my patrons. As always, you guys are great. Andy, John, Steve, you guys are great. And also, there is a new thing added to the Patreon if you actually go and check that out. Now, eventually, it'll be available to everyone else, but I want the patrons to have the first go. But one thing, I just realized, this is just not sitting properly. There we go. It keeps falling. Now, one thing I did do, guys, I did glue that sort of the handle in place so that it would stay vertical because it was just too loose. But yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next review. I hope you guys are enjoying Double October so far this year. I'm going to see as much as I can do with Double O kits, along with bringing you guys new kits when I can. I'll see you guys later, and remember, as always, keep on building.